So I've been running into the anti-vax community a lot lately, and I wanted to get this story out. As someone who has had serious reactions to vaccines in the past, I want to tell you, get vaccinated anyway. I do. My first reaction was as an infant with the pertussis vaccine, which is for whooping cough. It's in the DPT booster. You get it every couple of years. Every child does. It's required for most schools, and it's saves people's lives. Whooping cough is a very deadly childhood disease. As you get older, your body can usually fight it off and you'll be fine. But as a child, if you contract it, it's really not very good. So I had my first reaction as an infant. I turned blue and I screamed for 3 days straight. And my parents took me to the doctor and they were like, hey, my child's blue and has been screaming for 3 days straight. Won't sleep, won't eat. And the doctor was like, well, that sounds like a really bad allergy to the pertussis vaccine that I had just had. And so they continued to give me vaccinations just without the pertussis. They just gave me DTs instead of DPTs. And it was fine. I lived. There was no harm done. I didn't develop autism. Vaccines do not give you autism. Anyway, my second bad reaction to a vaccine was when I was about 15 years old, and I had the first of 3 rounds of the Gardasil vaccine that every teenager should get. It protects against certain strains of an STD that can cause cancer, especially cervical cancer. And, all adolescent women should get this vaccine done to help protect against developing cervical cancer due to this virus. And all teen adolescent boys should as well to help protect their partner. You can easily pass it along. So it's 3 rounds of the shots. And I went in for the first one and I came back home. And for the week after, I was violently ill, to the point where I dropped 10 pounds because I was unable to keep down any food, any water. It was really bad. I thought I had the stomach flu. I figured it was just bad timing because it was like the middle of winter. So after I recovered from that, I went back and got the second shot done. And I didn't mention it to my doctor because I thought I just had the flu. I'd had the flu in the past. It happens. I usually get my flu shots every year, but that year this had happened before I got the flu shot, and it turns out it wasn't the flu. But I went back and got my second round and became violently ill again. And I thought, well, I definitely don't have the flu again. And I dropped more weight and I got sick. And so when I went in for the third shot, I mentioned this to my doctor. I said, this is the weirdest thing. I've been getting the flu after each of these shots. Is there some sort of explanation? And my doctor went, oh my, it sounds like you're having an adverse reaction to the vaccination. We're going to stop the course. You're not going to get the third one. And I was like, oh, good to know that I can't have this vaccination because I'm having a really bad adverse reaction. I had dropped 20 pounds and I had been unable to eat and drink. I was really dehydrated. And so I didn't get the third round. But here's the thing. I'm letting my body recover. And then I was thinking, if I get the third round of vaccine, I will be violently ill for a week. And that'll really suck. And it won't be healthy. But on the other hand, if I don't get the third round of the vaccine and I contract this virus and it gives me cancer, I'll have cancer. And chemo's not so good for you either. So I'm gonna get vaccinated anyway. Yes, I have a really bad reaction to the vaccine, but I'm gonna get vaccinated anyway because I'd rather be violently ill for a week than violently ill while on chemo and radiation for months later in life. get your kids vaccinated, get yourself vaccinated. Even if you have a bad reaction, it's better than getting the virus or whatever. I guarantee it. The odds of having any reaction to a vaccination are very, very small. And out of that very, very small percentage, the odds of having a serious reaction, infinitesimally small, even smaller. And the odds of having a life-threatening reaction, slim to none. Even if you're in the 1% of the 1% of the 1% and you have serious reactions, like I do, to some random vaccine, I'd still rather not have cancer. Get vaccinated. And on a side note, as a psych student, as a future psychologist, vaccines do not cause autism. The whole reason why people think that is because of an unfounded study with incorrect data that's been retracted by the study's author himself. And the reason why it keeps perpetuating is because when you get your booster shot, your DPT shot as a child is around age 2. And around age 2 is when children with like regressive forms of autism start presenting, when they start developing vocabulary loss, problems with eye contact in social situations. Even if they had been developing totally typical until then, that's when regressive forms of autism start to regress. It's just a coincidence. It's just because your body and your brain just hit a milestone at the same time. I mean, if I stub my toe and break my arm, I'm not going to start thinking that stubbing my toe caused me to break my arm. No, that's not what happened. Please vaccinate your children and yourselves.